Can you improve your relationship communication, or is it truly a never-ending cycle of frustration? Well, today we're going to give you the answer. We're going to share with you some of the challenges that we faced in our communication, how we dealt with them, but ultimately how things are now. Find out right now. Stay tuned. It's the Home to Haven podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's another episode, another week. We're so excited to have you here. This is the Home to Haven podcast. I've said that already, but it's okay because this is the Home to Haven podcast. It's the third time I've said it. It's your home for faith-filled content that helps you communicate in your relationship. We are the Turners, and man, we're so glad to have you along for today's topic. I see you've matched me again.
Or did you match me is the question. We're not exactly the same, but we're in the same family of color.
Yeah. It is October. It is the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Everybody knows about that. Typically, I'm wearing my little...
Yep, you got your little pin.
My pin on. But I feel like whether it's breast cancer or... brain cancer or leukemia or stomach cancer, whatever people are facing, we kind of know people. Everyone listening probably has or knows someone who has dealt with or is dealing with this. And so we just wanted to send love to you. Our prayers and hearts are with you. If you are facing that, continue to stay strong. Amen. And God is a healer. And we just speak the blessing of the Lord over you, over your family member, or your loved one who might be dealing with that. Stay strong, and God is faithful, who promised he is good. And so, wanted to send that out to us this month and every month. All right, so we have a little journey that we have gone under and over.
In our marriage.
In our marriage.
Almost 10 years
of marriage. I was going to say, how long we've been married?
Almost 10 years. Mm-hmm. It's getting to 10. Almost a full decade. Does it seem like it?
It does not.
Okay.
It does not. Seems like it seems like it was yesterday, but it also seems like it was forever ago.
Yeah, it seems like we've always been together, but yeah.
Okay.
10 years. So we are going to talk a little bit about our journey through our communication and how we have progressed since the very beginning to now. How we've improved.
How were we in the very beginning?
Well, I don't know. Would you agree with this? I was going to say in the beginning of every marriage, there's an adjustment period. Because
100%.
Some people are moving in together for the first time. So you're starting to live with somebody else. And that brings a lot of different adjustments.
Correct.
Schedule, how you take care of the house, all those little things.
Correct. And so there's like this... In traditional Christendom, you go from celibacy for traditional, and it shouldn't be traditional, but that's a whole other topic.
Yeah,
but
we're not talking about that today.
You go from this single life to a full-blown serious relationship. Yeah. You're married. And so it does take an adjustment. I think for me, that was one of the things that I had to do to improve our communication.
Okay.
Maybe I'm going a little ahead of myself, but it flows, is that I had to really be patient, and I had to extend grace, and I had to realize it is not going to be perfect like overnight. Like we were married for 3 months or 6 months or a year.
Yeah.
You're going to progress and you're going to grow. And so just realize like, hey, we're figuring this out. We're learning one another. We only were together for a year, which is a long time, in my opinion.
Okay. Some people would say short. Some people would say long. I mean, we were engaged after 6 months of dating.
Right.
And then we had 6 months
we probably could have been engaged a little bit longer.
Being fiancés. But also moving in together, you're now around that person 24/7, pretty much, except for work. Whereas most of our relationship was long distance.
Correct.
So we had limited time where we were together. But now it was like every day you're coming home to that person, every day, sleeping in the same bed as that person. So there's a lot more time as well. So making all those adjustments as newlyweds.
And you do see things that you don't see when you're dating.
Right. Not that it was hidden. It's just.
Well, you see like the toothbrush or the toothbrush or the hair that's everywhere.
Okay.
And so those things affect your mood.
Okay. If they let it.
I've got hair in my coffee. What is this? Good morning. So that might affect your mood or how you respond. You might be a little snappy.
Yeah.
Like what? But so those things played a part into it, into our communication. So yes, I would agree that there was definitely an adjustment period.
Okay. And so we were also adjusting to communication styles. Would you agree that communicating during dating is a little bit different than communicating once you're married?
I don't know, man. That's a good question. I think it's a different level.
Okay.
I was definitely communicating with purpose while we were dating.
Okay.
So I was trying to figure out who you were and make sure that what you were presenting matched what I was
okay, and
seeing,
what you wanted, yeah,
and what I wanted,
yeah.
That all that matched and lined up, and I had to test that, and then okay, that's good. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of our conversation was about the future,
right?
And then when you get married, it's now about the present,
right?
So
it's not real life now,
right? Yeah. Not to say we're not casting vision, but now we're dealing with
day to
day. You did I remember to do this? Who's going to pick this up? What do you want from the store? Mm-hmm. You were at the store, you didn't give me anything. Like, what the heck was that about?
Are you doing what you said you would be doing when you were dating? Like, you were like, yeah, I'm super tidy and clean.
No,
and
you
stuff.
said you were super tidy.
I'm just giving an example.
We'll get into it. You're going to call me out. This woman's a pack rat, and I never saw that because her apartment was always immaculate and clean. And we get married, and I'm like, why is this stuff here? And then I find out you got a whole room that's still present in Michigan today with stuff from your childhood.
I don't think I ever said I wasn't.
And then your mom just ships things randomly because she doesn't want it anymore. And there'll be a Amazon box on the porch. Surprise! You take it now. She's your problem.
Oh, no. So it's adjusting to all those things, but also communicating through those things. So if you notice something like that, would you keep that inside and kind of harbor it and become resentful? Or, would you speak up about it and be more, forward and confrontational about it? So you're starting to deal with different circumstances and situations that you may not have dealt with when you were dating.
What was you said was our biggest challenge?
I think our biggest challenge was just, I hadn't really had a lot of experience with relationships and working through issues or problems.
And I think that's something that also I had to realize. Not saying I was all out in the streets. I didn't have a lot of real experience either. Uh-huh. But just remembering like, hey, we were in our young 30s.
Yeah. We were older. But we did not have a lot of experience. Like we were really coming from ground zero. Yeah. And it's like, okay, it's okay. I have some patience. Mm-hmm. We really don't know. We're still learning this. Right.
And that gave me a lot of comfort. And I think that's something that the Lord had to really share with me. It's like, hey, mm-hmm. she really doesn't know. It's okay.
Yeah. So like working through that and really even understanding it myself, like knowing like, why am I getting so emotional about trying to have a conversation with you, and really getting to like the root problem of it and really learning to understand the other person and what they need when you're communicating through things. Cause I just didn't know, or I hadn't learned that yet about myself and about you.
That's true.
And we hadn't learned that about ourselves as a couple.
Right.
So that's a whole different dynamic of understanding how we as a couple communicate together back and forth.
Yeah. So you might not know stressors, or you may not know certain triggers, and only until those things happen. And then you're able to, again, hopefully talk through those things and deal with those things, address those personally. Mm-hmm. There was something that I had to bring to Jen's attention, and that was one of the things that we was a brick wall, was I would communicate something to her. And one of the easiest examples, you may have heard it before if you're a avid listener, is putting flavor on the chicken, or buttermilk biscuits, or rice with no salt. Like, who does that? But anyway,
Healthy eaters.
so,
Which
and
now we're laughing about it,
when
but
we're
when it was
laughing, and
happening,
when it was
this was
happening,
not
it
a
was-
laughing matter. This was causing us to react in ways, probably,
different ways, and because I may be like, I may have said, who does that? Who does not put salt in rice?
a dagger through my heart when you say that, you know?
I didn't know it was a dagger in your heart.
Right.
I'm just being my normal sarcastic self. I don't know it's a dagger. And so her default was to shut down. So she would get silent.
Right.
And then my default also is to get silent. I can be very headstrong. Our daughter reflects that a lot of times, and I'll start seeing myself in her, because you were just asking me today, were you like this? Nothing's going to beat me. I'm like, absolutely. I do not. I don't feel like to lose. I really don't care. But it's more so like, if there's a problem or a puzzle, or I remember
A challenge,
a challenge, like a sound issue, I'm like, I've got to figure this out, and I won't leave until I get it.
Okay.
And so if you're silent, oh, I got you. I'll beat you. I'll be silent. We'll see who breaks first.
So
we got this. Okay.
The challenge should have been, can I get her to talk and open up?
Okay.
How
Yeah.
can I approach her so that she doesn't resort to that?
I don't want to do that.
But instead, we were matching each other with the silent
Yeah.
treatment, not talking through things.
And that's a great idea. You know, if you're listening, hear what she just said. The challenge should be like, hey, how can I get her to open up? If she's not opening up to you, how can I get her to open up? Or if he's not opening up to you with one word answers, how can I get him to be more
Yeah.
open with
Vulnerable.
me, or vulnerable?
Yeah.
Versus, I don't care. I don't want to do that.
I'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
I can beat you at that game.
So that was my attitude, which was wrong. And so it would go 4 hours, 5 hours a day. You walk, this woman just walked past me and didn't say, Jack, what is going on in here? This is what I'm thinking. God, who I married? What is? Oh, heck no. Did she just go to bed and not say goodnight? What in the? What is this? So now I'm all upset and mad, and I'm taking walks around the neighborhood or outside in the porch or the patio. Lights off, so that's not good. And so we really had to deal with that. And then I'm like, okay, somebody's got to break.
Right.
And I would communicate that to you. I don't want to always be the one
Yeah.
to be like, hey, let's make this right.
Right.
Don't you love me too?
Right.
And then it was addressing like, hey, you would say, I'm failing you. You don't
Disappointing,
love me. I'm disappointing you. I'm a bad wife. I'm like, those words never came out of my, and I remember it was one particular incident. I'm like, Jen, I never said that.
Right.
When did I say that? You're like, yeah, I never said it. You're hearing that through a filter.
Yeah.
And that filter is a lie that the enemy's trying to tell you to keep us separated. And so it was really acknowledging that we have got to overcome filters. And there's things that you have dealt with, that I have dealt with in our own past and our childhoods and our experiences that cause us to hear things that really were not being said.
Right. And so working through that, when we were in the middle of that or in the deep parts of that, struggling to really communicate well with each other, for me, my faith was going to be the thing that really pulled it through. So being grounded and spending time in prayer and learning to overcome some mindset things that I had in my mind. I remember thinking, we've tried to talk about something and it doesn't help. So what's the point of talking about it? Because I feel like you might bring something up, like you would initiate the conversation to finally break that. And then I would feel like that conversation didn't get us anywhere.
Didn't go anywhere.
So I had that in my mind as well of what's the point of trying to talk through this specific issue when I don't feel a resolve at the end, or I don't feel like we've gotten to a point where we have come together on it.
That's a lot of people's attitudes. I know I hear it a lot from women, is that we have the conversation and it does not go anywhere. It's a merry-go-round, or it doesn't get resolved.
Yeah.
So my advice would be, and my challenge to you would be, let's change the attitude and say, we're going to have the conversation and it will get resolved. We're going to get through this. It may be painful. It may be a long conversation. It may be brick walls and some walls crumbling. It might be some breakthrough that needs to happen, but we will get through this and have the patience that if he's not explaining himself correctly, what do you mean by that? What are you saying? What are you trying to say? Okay, well, I need this. Okay. And as ugly as it might be, walk through it.
Yeah. And really also understanding how God wants you to communicate and how he wants you to operate as a wife and a husband, because I would also fall back on things that I would think about myself. Like, well, I'm not good with words. Like I don't have great conversations. I'm not very verbally expressive. That's just like how I am. Or if you would say, oh, I'm just sarcastic, that's just how I am, you have to deal with it. Like, no, you can't just say that's just the way I am. You're going to have to deal with it, or that's just the way our conversations are going to be for the rest of our married life. Like, you have to look deeper into how does God command us to treat other people, communicate with other people, and really allow yourself to grow and change in those necessary areas. Like, so be humble and realize that about yourself. And do not set your mind that that's just how it's going to be and you can't grow and change.
I was going to ask you that. How then are we supposed to have, if I can't be like, this is me, well, how should I be? And you gave it, which is amazing, because if you don't know that about Jen, you wouldn't know that she is not a person who just talks. So a podcast where you talk is way out of her comfort zone. And so just someone who is submitted to the will of God, dropping wisdom nuggets is amazing to hear. So it's incredible what God will do with you, with your character, with your personality, with your communication, when you yield it to him and say, okay, how am I supposed to talk to this dude? Lord, how do I talk to my wife? And I've had to say, God, that's your daughter. You made her. You deal with her. You talk to her, because I can't right now. And when you trust that, and I trust, again, if you haven't heard the podcast about submission, go to it. Which episode is it? 46, 45?
It was a few ago.
Because if they're submitted to God, I trust God. I trust Jennifer to God. And so I trust that you can't just talk to me any kind of way or treat me any kind of way or behave any kind of way and get away with it.
Yeah. When you're submitted to the Lord, first and foremost, you have to realize you're talking to God's son, or you're talking to God's daughter, and how you should still honor. You can still show honor and respect and love through these conversations, the tough conversations. There is a way to do that. And God shows you that in his word.
Was I very sarcastic when we were dating?
I think maybe joking, but I don't think you were ever sarcastic about me or things I did or my character. Like, no. you would never joke about my cooking or something.
No. No, that's what I was asking, because am I still as sarcastic? Have I tailored it back?
I don't think you're super sarcastic anymore. I think
I had to realize that she does not like our sarcastic answer. Now that can be a part of my personality, but I've had to adjust that and tailor that back with my wife, because sarcasm can sometimes offend her, and I don't want to do that. So
right, I don't mind sarcasm. If you're joking around about football or something, it was hurting me if you were sarcastic about our relationship or about my character or how I looked or something, because to me that's serious stuff. You shouldn't be sarcastic about that kind of stuff.
Well, it's also one of my protective defaults.
If you're hurt, maybe.
If I'm hurt, I'll throw a jab, or I have learned to be more direct. So, you know, I didn't have always the strength to be direct in my communication because I was really, I had a pretty strict home. And so learning to verbalize like, hey, this is what I don't like versus, well,
a passive aggressive
answer.
Yeah.
To just say what you mean.
To undermine what you really were trying to say. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Just some kind. I'm trying to think of an example of what I've said or done that, you know, just go ahead and say you didn't like that versus.
Right.
It's kind of.
Yeah.
It's kind of
dry.
Kind of dry in here. This looks kind of funny. What do you mean? I'm just it's an interesting color. I don't like the shirt. Just, you know, just to say it, you know.
Right. So working through that, did you find like one aha moment, or do you feel like we're always progressing and getting
progressing.
Better? Yeah.
Always getting better, always tailoring to it. And I'll ask like, hey, how are you doing? How am I doing? Are you happy? Why are you not happy? Are you satisfied? What can I do better?
Yeah.
What am I doing that you don't like? What am I doing that you do like? I ask those questions.
Yeah.
And again, when she gives the answer, you got to be quiet. Let her answer. Don't interrupt so that she feels safe to give the answer. Because if I don't want the answer, don't ask the question.
Okay. Amen. Don't ask it if you don't
Don't
want
ask if you don't want it. So I want the answer. So I ask the question. So I need to be quiet and get the answer. And whatever the answer is, if I don't like it, I got to chew it and ask follow-up questions. Okay, well, why don't you like that? How can I do better?
Yeah, really understand.
What do you need from that? Okay, I didn't know that. Are you sure about that? Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I'll try.
Yeah.
All right. So hope that helped. You got any more? Anything else?
Do you have one piece? If somebody's in the middle of this, do you have one piece of advice that you would give them to get over their communication struggles, or just some encouragement, like one thing that you could throw at them real quick? Or do you want me to go?
Yeah, you go. What would be your piece of advice?
My one piece of advice would be to pray first and know who you are in the Lord first, because ultimately I was letting sometimes communication from somebody else like speak to me like through lies versus what I know to be the truth and what I know to be the Lord's will and his voice. So do that first and foremost, and then just be willing to adjust to your partner. It's not all about you. Going back to the submission, just being willing to adjust to your needs and communication.
Yeah, I would say it's so good. You know, humility is a great pill to swallow and to eat. And, you know, you have to shut out the noise. And again, you hear us saying, really hear what God is saying. Because if you got family members or friends or internet gurus telling you things and it's contrary to God's will for your marriage, right? So what is specific to your boo?
Right.
Nobody else.
Right.
Is what you need to be focused on and talk through and hear it from your boo.
Amen.
Versus everything else. We're giving you a blueprint and some roadmaps and some guidelines based on scripture.
Yeah.
And take that, but still you're going to be like, hey, what is specific to what you need and that we need to do together to get through this? It's possible. You can break the cycle. It doesn't have to be a road block, a brick wall. You have to want to get better. You have to want to understand. You have to want to, and really believe that, hey, you know what? This woman here really loves me. She wants my best. And I've had to communicate and say, I'm not here to hurt you. And she's had to say, I'm not here to hurt you. I'm trying to be good to you.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that all the times. So if you tell me how to be good to you, if you tell me what good looks like to you, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I think we having those conversations and hearing that from one another was like, okay, I can trust this person. I can chill out.
Yeah.
And remember that she's not doing it intentionally. I'm not doing it intentionally. And that's really helped some things. Hope that helps you. If it did, let us know in the comments. You can always DM us on social media at Oak Haven Company, or send that message to hi, H-I, at oakhavencompany.com. We'd love to email, help you out if you have a prayer request or anything that we can do to support you in your journey, in your marriage, in your relationship. Maybe it's not perfect right now. Maybe you hit some roadblocks. Maybe you're in some pain. Maybe you're in some frustrated points. We'd love to just pray with you, put you on our prayer wall, and know that you are not alone, but that you have some cheerleaders in your corner who've been what you've been through and walked safely through the furnace to the other side. Now, one of the things that helped us was our 5 prayers that every couple needs. It really changed us and set us on a trajectory of when we became and started praying together. Mm-hmm. So we put together just 5 prayers that has 5 scriptures for 5 topics in your marriage that you can pray for one another if you don't know what to pray or how to pray, or you maybe do pray, but sometimes you don't stay consistent, or you're like, well, God bless him. I don't know. So we have a really good guideline for you. It's a single-page PDF that will help you get started praying for each other.
And it is 5 powerful prayers for your relationship. It is a free downloadable PDF. So
it's
go
free.
Grab that today and start praying over your relationship, these 5 specific areas. It will change your relationship. I guarantee it.
It's free.
If you spend time in prayer for your relationship every day.
It's free. Because, again, Grandma's advised a couple that prays together. They do stay together, right? So get it today. It's in the show notes, in the comments or the description, or on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. oakhavencompany.com/5 prayers. Get it today. You'd love it. And let it bless your life. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We love having you. We really do.
We do.
And thanks so much. Remember, if you got anything, like, subscribe, smash it, dash it, hit and stick it. So we will see you next week. And remember, it's wisdom that builds the house.
Did you get anything from today's topic? Do you want to build your home into a haven and have a peaceful atmosphere? Then take the first step and download your home prayer guide, absolutely free. You'll find scriptures and prayers that pertain to the most common areas of your home life, from communication to finances, along with explanations of each topic. You'll have everything you need to speak the promise and not the problem. And did we mention it's free? Look for and click the link in the description. Our mission is to assist couples in their relationship communication so that they can build a haven of peace and love. Friend, you can have a fulfilling relationship, and we hope today's topic provided tools that will help you experience the fullness of a faith-centered relationship. So connect with us on social and send a message. Find us at Oak Haven Company on all social media platforms. We also have additional resources available to assist you on your journey. So visit oakhavencompany.com today and discover even more tools for success in your relationship communication. Again, thank you for listening. And remember, wisdom builds the house.